Begin sitting on your yoga mat, and we're going to move into our first posture, butterfly pose, bringing the soles of the feet together and letting the knees fall to either side. Spine and neck are straight and lengthened, chin slightly tucked. Gently begin to flap your knees up and down. I love to incorporate shaking into my flows, especially for grounding and anxiety release. Shaking is great for relieving muscle tension, and it also supports nervous system regulation. Begin to incorporate belly breathing here, filling your belly up with air and slowly releasing, making your exhales longer than your inhales. Belly breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, shifting the body from fight or flight to rest and digest. In today's fast-paced world, we're actually rarely in this state. We're constantly doing or consuming. This state is activated in the pure nothingness when we are not distracting ourselves with anything and are not consuming anything or taking in any noise. So allow yourself to enjoy this moment of nothingness. Let yourself come in touch with your own energy and emotions and sensations, tapping into the body and out of the mind, and shaking off any sensation that doesn't feel right. To heighten sensation, try and keep your eyes closed. Now come to stillness and allow your body to feel the effects of the shaking you've just done. See if you can begin to feel the flow of energy in your body. If you're finding the belly breathing confusing, I want you to keep focusing on that. But if you want an extra little tool, we're going to add a tongue mudra. So you're going to roll your tongue to the back of your throat, as if you're trying to reach your tonsils. So your tongue should be touching the upper palate of your mouth, and if you're able to reach, it should be touching the softer part of your upper palate. Keep your mouth closed when you're doing this, and keep breathing through your nose. An extra step up from this would be to add ujjayi breath. If you're familiar with this breathing, then you know what to do, but if you're not, I want you to imagine you're trying to fog up a mirror, making the sound but you do this with your mouth closed, so through your nose, exhaling and inhaling with that soft constriction at the back of your throat. So it should sound something like this. Kind of sounds like Darth Vader or snoring. So we're combining the belly breathing with the tongue mudra and the ujjayi breath. So the tongue is rolled back, the mouth is closed, we're breathing in and out through our nose with that soft constriction in the back of our throat. Inhaling into the belly and not the chest, and exhaling out slowly. If at any point you're finding my instructions overwhelming, just let them flow by and focus on the belly breathing. Let's do a few more rounds of breathing with these tools. Inhaling into the belly through the nose, and exhaling out through the nose, out of the belly. One more round at your own pace, tapping into the sensations of the body, trying to stay as present as you can in the body. And on your next inhale, you're gonna arch your back and look up, and then exhale, rounding the spine and looking down to your belly button. We're gonna continue the same breathing if it's comfortable for you with the ujjayi breath and the tongue hold, but you can release it at any time if it starts to feel uncomfortable, and just do the belly breathing. I'm gonna show you what it looks like from the side. Inhaling, looking up, arching your spine, and exhaling, melting your solar plexus, looking down and curling your spine. The tongue mudra further adds to this stretch, both energetically and physically, circulating energy through the spine and the chakras, fully relaxing your pelvic floor on the exhale. And on the next inhale, add a slight lift and squeeze to the pelvic floor. Inhaling and lifting, grounding earth energy up your spine through this pelvic squeeze, letting go of the lift on the exhale, fully relaxing the pelvic floor. Continuing this cycle, you can release your tongue if it all feels too much, and focusing solely on the lift of the pelvic floor and the release. Very good. Exhaling, release. Feeling that grounding energy wash over you as you curl your spine and look down, and feeling it rise up your spine as you arch your back, look up and inhale. Exhale, relaxing and growing your roots deeper into the earth. Inhale and pulling energy up through those roots. On your next exhale, you can come to a neutral butterfly position and sit in stillness to feel the after effects of the practice you just completed. Keeping your eyes closed, can you tap deeper into your body, into nature, into earth? Lengthen your legs out in front of you. We're going to come into forward fold. You can move your glutes aside so that your sit bones are directly on the ground. Lift your hands up to the sky, inhaling and exhaling, lowering down to your feet. Grab on to the sides of your feet, folding from the hips and not the lower back. Feeling the root connection to the earth. Forward folds are really great for activating the parasympathetic nervous system. Using this pose as an integration of the butterfly sequence, we built a lot of energy in that sequence, and this is the time to ground it into your body, into the root chakra. Relaxing your pelvic floor, fully releasing, and taking deep belly breaths here. Try to inhale for 4 and exhale for 6. With your eyes closed, focusing on the count of your breath and also paying attention to the sensations in your body. On your next exhale, rise up out of your forward fold very slowly. Taking your time and keeping your eyes closed, cross your legs and come forward into an upward facing dog position, lowering your hips to the ground, keeping shoulders in line with the wrists. Inhale, and on your next exhale, lower down into cobra pose. Elbows back and pressing the tops of the feet and the hip bones into the ground. And on your next inhale, push back up to upward facing dog. Start to introduce the lifting and squeezing of the pelvic floor on the inhale, and relaxing the pelvic floor on the exhale, lowering yourself back down to cobra pose. It's okay to have your chest slightly lower than you usually would in cobra pose here. Squeezing and pulling again on the inhale, moving with your breath at your own pace. And when you're releasing on your exhales, maybe you want to add a little sound, maybe a humming or some sighing of release. This sequence is really focused on grounding the sacral chakra. With the first part of the flow, we were grounding the root. Now we ground the sacral before we move up to the heart. Continuing with this squeezing and lifting as you inhale, and releasing, relaxing on the exhale as you lower yourself back down. Chest to the earth. Inhaling back up. Squeeze and lift the pelvic floor. Chest is open, receptive. And exhaling, releasing and relaxing, coming back down. Place your forearms on the yoga mat, your hands and your elbows, and lift your chest up, looking out in front of you. Bring your right forearm across your body towards the left side, and reach back with your left hand, grabbing your left foot for a chest opening stretch. Keep your chest facing forward. If this feels like it's enough for you, stay here. But if you want more of a challenge, press down on the top of your toes like I'm doing in this video. Big belly breaths here. Belly expanding into the ground as you inhale, absorbing earth energy into the sacral chakra, the womb, the belly, whatever helps you visualize it. Pushing your hips forward into the ground. On your next exhale, whenever that is, you can start to slowly release your foot and place your leg back down on the mat. Take a moment here to feel how the energy flows on your left side, and when you're ready, take your left arm across your body and reach back with your right arm, grabbing the right foot with your right hand. Hip bones pushing into the ground, chest stays lifted, and if it's accessible to you, begin to push down on the tops of your toes with your palm, staying lifted in your body. Continuing to ground yourself with big belly breaths. Exhaling for 6, inhaling for 4. We're stretching the front of the thighs, hips, and abdomen. All places where we store a lot of tension and emotions. On the next exhale, begin to release and come back to an upward cobra pose. Forearms on the floor, fingers pointed out in front of you. See if you can feel any slight energy shifts in the right side of your body. Now lift your feet up from the mat, letting your knees and feet hover, and bring your arms out in front of you, fingers stretched. Keeping the belly breath going, and stay here if that feels like enough of a challenge for you. Or reach back, hands on the inside of the foot, thumbs facing up. Bracing yourself here, take a deep breath into your belly. And on the exhale, you're going to lift yourself up into bow and arrow pose. Pulling on your feet with your hands to lift yourself up. In this pose, we're grounding both the sacral and the solar plexus. On your next exhale, release the posture. Place your right forearm over your left and rest your forehead on your arm, creating a windshield wiper motion with your legs, moving them from side to side to release the lower back, neutralizing the spine after the back bends we've just created. Letting yourself fully relax with this motion. Rocking side to side on your hips, releasing whatever you need to release, and releasing the legs now, letting the body melt fully into the ground. Just relaxing here, there's nothing you need to do. Chest openers are another great way to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. Stretching the chest activates the thymus gland, which is linked to the heart chakra and can release stagnant emotional energy. Keeping the belly breaths going, integrating all the energy we've moved and stimulated. Inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 6. And on your next inhale, push yourself up to tabletop. Bring your knees out to the edges of the mat and feet coming together. Push down into a wide-legged child's pose, connecting heart to earth here. This is a super grounding forward fold, specifically for the heart and the third eye chakra. Breathing into the belly, inhaling for 4, and exhaling for 6. We're going to incorporate the tongue mudra again, so rolling the tongue back towards the tonsils, keeping your mouth closed, and breathing in and out through the nose, keeping the belly breaths here, and keeping the tongue rolled back. You can begin to add your ujjayi breath, slightly constricting the throat as you inhale and exhale through your nose. Inhaling into the belly for 4, filling the belly with air, and exhaling for 6. as well as activating the parasympathetic nervous system and reducing anxiety. Ujjayi breath also stimulates pranic flow in the Sushumna Nadi, which is our central energy channel. When energy becomes stuck or stagnant in this channel, it can create tension and anxiety and depression. With this breath, we clear the path and let energy flow freely. Now begin to add a lift and squeeze of the pelvic floor on your inhales, letting go and relaxing fully on the exhales. When you add the squeeze and lift of the pelvic floor, it becomes harder to breathe into your belly. Don't worry about that too much. We're shifting the focus from filling the belly into lifting and squeezing the pelvic floor. Keeping the tongue lock if it is comfortable for you. This tongue lock stimulates the pineal gland and activates intuition. It also further opens the Sushumna Nadi, and the squeezing of lifting of the pelvic floor helps to ground energy, while also initiating upward flow to the higher chakras in the body. Fully relax your pelvic floor, release your tongue, and release the Ujjayi breath. Breathing normally now without any locks in the body. On your next inhale, gently come back up to a tabletop position and try to keep the hips above the knees. Stretch your arms out in front of you as far as you can and place your chest to the floor if this is accessible for you. If it's not, you can rest on your forearms or elbows and just rest your forehead on the mat. If you're in the full pose, you can either rest your forehead to the mat, or if it's more comfortable, you can rest one ear to the mat and I will tell you when to switch. This pose is extremely grounding for the heart especially, and also for the third eye chakra and the throat chakra. Very gently, you can switch ears if you are laying on one ear. Try to visualize absorbing earth energy up into your heart, soaking up this beautiful grounding energy and letting it spread through your body. And on your next exhale, you're gonna lift your heart up and place your hip bones on the ground. Stay on your forearms for a moment here to feel the energy flowing in your chest, perhaps also in your forehead, before folding one forearm over the other and resting your forehead on your arms. Belly to the floor postures are extremely grounding and nourishing, so take a moment here to enjoy the sensations in your body that have been activated from the postures you just did. Deep belly breaths here, breathing into the belly. Exhaling, becoming heavier and melting further into the ground. Take a deep inhale into your belly here. And on your exhale, push up into downward facing dog, pushing yourself away with your hands and walking your legs out here, releasing any tension in your legs, any stagnation. We're gonna do a little flow here. So on your next inhale, come up into upward facing dog and exhale back into child's pose. Inhale back up into upward facing dog and exhale back to downward facing dog. Inhaling, come forward into upward facing dog. Look up, open your chest. And exhaling back into child's pose, fully enjoying these last few moments of grounding and relaxation here. Take a moment to honor the earth and her grounding powers that are always there, keeping the belly breaths here, becoming heavy as you exhale. And on your next inhale, lift up into kneeling position, taking a moment to appreciate your body I really recommend you laying in Shavasana after completing this flow for however long you like.